project, you will be having this folder structure. So you will be having node modules folder. So this node modules folder initially it will not be there. So whenever you do npm install, all the packages you mentioned in this package.json, that dependencies and dev dependencies, so these will be installed. A new folder, new node modules folder will be created, and these modules will be installed in under this folder. Okay, so it is like a separate project. So this is one kind of separate library, and this is one kind of separate library. So everything will be inside this node modules. So you are just going to import this file into your project, and you are going to use it. Okay, so in the package.json, so if you see, we have a attribute script. So under script we are creating one object. So here whatever command you want to run, you can give that command, and you can give a key value for that command. Okay, so for example, if you want to run a wheat project, you need to run this wheat command. So instead of directly running this wait command, we can run this by giving some keyword for this. So that's what we gave here. So npm run dev. So I'm just running this dev key so that it will run this wait command. So here you can see it is running the wait command. So instead of running wait build, I can run npm run build. So instead of running this command eslint dot, so we can run npm run lint. So if you want to preview your UI, then you can use npm run preview. Okay. So whatever you want, you can type it here. So you can run that command. Okay. So if you see, a new React project is created. So here I want to discuss about this index.html. So we already discussed this. Here we have a script tag. So it is a basic HTML file only. So here we will be having a JavaScript tag, and here you can mention the JavaScript file path. So as per this Wheat project, they have main.jsx as a entry point. So they are directly calling this main.jsx inside this src, so that it will navigate into the main.jsx. So in that main.jsx, they have enabled this strict mode. So this strict mode is very useful whenever you run your application in development mode. So it's like if you already know the use strict in JavaScript. So actually, it will be having some set of rules, right? That strict mode. It will check whether you are following those rules. For example, if it is asking you to add some semicolon, or you should not use some inbuilt JavaScript keyword as a variable. So that kind of rules are there, right? JavaScript related rules. So if whenever you enable the strict mode, it will check all those things. So like this in React, we have this strict mode. So whenever you use this strict mode, it will check whether any compilation issue or error is there in your component. Okay, for example, if you are running this app component, it will run every React hooks multiple times, and it will check. Okay, so but in production mode, it will not work. I mean, it will be only enabled for development mode. So in production mode, it will not affect your application performance. Okay, so from here they are calling the app.jsx. Okay, so whatever you want to uh, type, or whatever component you want to create, that should be created inside, or that should be added inside this app.jsx. Okay, so that you can see that component in the UI. Okay, so for example, they have added this code inside this component, and that same code, the UI design for that code, you can see it in the screen. Okay, so let me remove this, and I'm going to create a simple text here. Okay, so this is a basic React component. So if you want to create a simple React component, functional component. So this is an example for functional component. So let me remove this. Okay. So if you see here, this is a sample for functional component. So the functional component you should create like this. The function. So it's like a simple JavaScript function, right? As we discussed before, each component is a simple JavaScript function. You can reuse it anywhere of your application. Instead of returning some values, it will return the DOM elements. Okay. So the same thing we did. It is a JavaScript function and it is returning some DOM elements. Okay. So you can either create like this or you can use the arrow function. Okay. For example, I'm going to store this arrow. Let me disable the auto suggestion. Okay. So I'm going to create a functional component by using arrow function. So here I'm going, still it's working. Oh. Okay. So here I'm going to return the same thing. So either way you can do it. Okay. So either you can create a normal function or you can create a arrow function and you can export it. Okay. So you should see the same thing. Okay. So apart from this, if you want to do styling, there are a lot of ways to do styling in React. So that we will discuss. Okay, but you can use the styling by using CSS as well, like HTML, JavaScript. You use CSS, right? So like that, you can create a separate CSS file and you can import that CSS file here. Okay. And so like id you, so usually for id we will give this hash, and for class name we will give this dot, right? So like that you can give the styling for this component. Okay. For example, if I want to give a style by using class name for this header one, I can create a class name. So in HTML, so one more thing I want to share here, in HTML if you see, they have a class attribute, right? Or class. So if they want to create a class name, they will create class, then the class name, right? Header we can get. So like this they will create, right? But here, if you see in JavaScript, we have already this class keyword, right? To create classes. So we should not use this class. So instead of class, they are having class name in JSX. Okay. So in JSX, you should use class name instead of class. And also in other CSS properties, if you see, for example, margin top, how you mention in CSS, so you will mention like margin hyphen top, right? But here it should be a camel case. Okay. So the margin top should be like this. Okay. So this inline styling we will see later. Okay. So now I'm going to style this by using the class name. So if you want to add a style for this, you can add the style here. Since we have a class name, I added dot. So here you can give the color as red. So now the color is changed to red, right? So like this, you can give some styling to your component. Okay. And this is the global styling index.css. So if you want to add any global styling to enter your component or enter your project, then you can add it here. Okay. So yeah, that's it. And asset we can keep some files. If you want to use in your project, you can keep it. And public also, you can have some static files. Okay. Okay. So we have completed this one. So the next one is okay, component anatomy. So whenever okay, this component anatomy. So after we see this, we will see component anatomy. Okay, so that you can understand better. Okay, so JSX we discussed and JavaScript expressions in JSX. So this also we discussed yesterday, right? So whenever you want to use some JavaScript expression inside this, inside this React component, you should use the curly brace, right? So for example, now okay, so I'm going to so here you can write a JavaScript code, right? Above written, and as well as if you want to write some JavaScript code inside, you should use curly brace, right? So here I'm going to write some JavaScript code. So I'm going to create one flag. Okay, is React session. Okay, so I will make this as true, and I'm going to wrap this with one parent tag. So this is called React fragment. Either you can give like this, or you can directly call the fragment from React dot fragment. So you can call like this, or you can simply use that. Okay. So the purpose of this is so instead of creating a div, so if you add one additional div above, it is unnecessary, right, to create a space for that div. So instead of that, it will create an empty parent. So in JSX, you can use this React fragment. Okay, either you can use by using this keyword, or you can simply use that less than and greater than symbol. Okay, so now I am going to conditionally render this component. So if it is a React session, then we will print this header, or if it is Angular session, I am going to print Angular. Okay. So how we can do conditional rendering? So you know about ternary operator, right? In JavaScript, I hope you all know about ternary operator. So ternary operator is like you can check some condition. For example, here we can say we can check this condition. If this condition is true, then we can do something. Uh, else we can print something. Okay, so this is a ternary operation, right? In JavaScript. So the same thing you can use it here. So to use this, as we discussed, we have to use a curly brace. So inside curly brace, I'm going to check this flag. If it is true, then I'm going to return this, else I will return this one. Okay. So since it is having only one parent or only one element, I'm not using that function bracket. Else we need to use that function bracket, or we need to wrap with the under only one parent. Okay. So in this case, So in this case, now I am going to update this flag false. Okay. So here you can see Angular. Okay.